To the trending topics. It's so funny, Sakina. A lot of people waking up this morning and saying, hang on, did I miss something? Why are Leanne and Sakina wearing this kind of makeup? Is it something that I need to put on? Yes, it is. It's Africa Day, just in case you forgot. 25th of May, Africa Day. So we're celebrating the tapestry of Africa this morning.
Indeed we are. And of course, if you forgot, you are reminded. So go out there and be proudly African and South African. Right, let's take a quick look at those trending topics before we get to news time. And the first one, naturally, hashtag Africa Day. And I see one of the threads in this particular Africa Day conversation, Leanne, is about asking tough questions of African leaders about how far we've come, and many young people speaking to this. You know, yes, it's a day to celebrate, but it's also a day for us to really hone in and ask questions about our development and our progress as a continent.
Indeed. I mean, it just brings into question the exact interview that we just had. I mean, we talk about Africa and how far we're lagging behind when it comes to the vaccinations, and you know, when it came to COVID, and how, you know, the rest of the world is so far ahead and we are lagging behind, and the Western world knows that. But then we start talking to, you know, some of these illegal things that have been happening, and irregular spending that's related to corruption and all of these kind of things, and it leaves this bitter taste in your mouth where you're constantly questioning, you know, the leadership. And we should be one of the wealthiest continents in the world. We have every reason.
No, we are.
We are.
We just misappropriate,
but we don't live it.
The money.
That's the problem, and that's when you do have people.
And we make poor business decisions because we don't capitalize. We export a whole lot of raw materials to the rest of the world, which we actually should, start processing ourselves right here on the African continent.
Yeah.
So something needs to give. We cannot continue with the sort of leadership we've had on the African continent for all these decades. We need leadership that's going to move this continent forward.
Very much so. I mean, we can celebrate and celebrate and celebrate, but when unfortunately the people of the continent do not reap the rewards of this continent, there's nothing to celebrate.
But I also have to say, we need to stop looking at certain things through rose-tinted glasses. I was listening to the interview with Peter Louis Myburgh, and absolutely correct. My only consternation with what we do is that we seem to be very effective and efficient when it comes to honing in on certain aspects of corruption. Whereas there's a lot more going on that we seem to turn a complete blind eye to.
Yeah.
You know, we forget at the beginning of this COVID-19 pandemic, there was a whole issue with a business for South Africa and the PPE procurement saga, where Treasury, for some reason, thought it okay to outsource that to private interests. When they were called out on it, suddenly it came back, and you know, it was rolled out differently. So all I'm saying is, can we just be objective in how we look at these things? You remember the 2010 corruption around the building of the stadia? What was it called? Collusion by the big construction companies. It is corruption. And this is what I wish Africa would get right.
Call it by its real name. All right, so Africa Day, I know we're speaking to the negatives, but there's lots to celebrate as well. All right, let me quickly run through these, because I know we've got to get to the news. Sakina, you got to go and stand up and stretch your stuff. Go and do what you got to do. Okay. You got to see what she's wearing, so I'm making her stand for this. You have to. Okay, so it's Gayton McKenzie, Patriotic Alliance. We saw how they did in the by-elections. He had, of course, a lot to say during an interview, and everybody speaking to it and asking, is this perhaps the shift that we're looking for? So anyway, that was the Patriotic Alliance talking about by-elections. The next trending topic is, let's have a look at what that is. Green ID. I'm still not sure what this is all about, but I know that it was spoken about the whole of yesterday and this morning. It is still trending. So Green ID book, you know that little Green ID book you've got? Well, everyone's speaking about the Green ID Brigade. I'm not sure. What I picked up is people are saying, I'm not getting the new ID card until my little green book means nothing. So while it still means something, I'm going to use it. So that's hashtag Green ID. Please let me know if there's more to the trend, because I'm not too sure. And then I think finally was a celebrity boxing, and last night it seemed like the Twitterati were matching up people who should fight who. I'm glad I never saw my name there. Neither did I see yours, Sakina. So no celebrity boxing matches that we're going to be having.
I can't fight with anybody. I'll lose. I can just tell you right now.
It says Don saying it's so big in the States. I think we could make decent money in Africa with it too. It could also boost boxing on the continent. Who do you think would make a great boxing fight? And then everybody was commenting. So that's Casper Nioves. So there we go. Those are your trending topics. That leads us into this Africa Day news at 7. Let me hand you over to Sakina.